around looking like me, trying to rap like me, act like me, talking like me, even told the barber make their hair nappy. Hey, for a minute, I was finna change my swag up. Then I remember, this the shit that got my bag up. Say who? Crash what? Nigga, I got power. Bitch, get the drop, mask up, done within an hour.
What's good, y'all? It's your main man, Daquan, and I'm back with another video for y'all. And in this video, we're gonna be talking about the pros and cons of shooting builds in 2K21. And we ain't gonna be talking about the regular, oh, you can't slash, oh, you spread the floor. We're gonna be talking about the shit you don't find out until you actually make the shooting build. But for the first one, we're gonna be talking about internet. You need good internet if you are going to be on a shooting build. In the gameplay in the background, everyone in this gameplay is a shooter, but don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to the points I'm going to give you. Shooting is based on timing. You have to hit a certain window in a millisecond time frame. So if you're just off a couple milliseconds, your whole shit is going to be white. You ain't going to hit that green and you ain't going to be a good shooter in this game. I used to have the most ass internet in the world, and this is a big reason why I became a big man, but my internet's better now. But what I'm saying is I couldn't be a shooter for a long time, and if you don't have good internet, you won't be able to either. Even if you do have good internet, every shooter knows lagging is one of the biggest detriments you can have while on the court. You're gonna be one of the biggest liabilities if you cannot shoot while on the court and you have bad internet. You have one responsibility while on the court as a shooter on offense, and that's to shoot the ball. And if you can't do that, then what's the point of you being there? Go make an inside build, go make a center. That's what I had to do. So if you do not have good internet, do not make a shooting build, please. But we on to the next topic, or con I should say, which is defensive liability. Automatically adding shooting to your build is gonna make your player a defensive liability. It doesn't matter what type of build you are. Even if you have defense in your build, you still gonna be just a little bit ass at defense just because that shooting is in your build. It's kind of like adding or subtracting 50 pounds from your build, just adding that shooting archetype. As a shooter, you basically want to shoot under one circumstance, and that's when you're open. And the only way to get open is with speed in this game. So what that means is you have to make your player just a little bit skinny, or you have to choose the speed archetype. And what this does to your build is it makes your player just weak. You're gonna have less hops, you're gonna have less strength all around, but you are gonna have that speed on your build. Shooting is already the least physical archetype in this game. It puts you at one of the biggest disadvantages. As a playmaker, you're gonna get that speed. As a defender, you're gonna get that speed. A slasher, same thing kinda, but not as much. And shooter, not as much, because you depend on shooting, which is one of the biggest strengths in this game. So they're already gonna set you back a little bit. And this is kind of gonna transition us into our next con, which is the height. The height. You cannot make a tall shooter in this game and have success as you would with a smaller shooter in this game. You basically need to be under 6'8" to be a good shooter in this game. If you're anything above that, your shooting is gonna be in about the 70s, which is not good for a shooter. It literally makes no sense to make a tall shooter in this game after hearing the disadvantages. You're already slow and weak because you're a shooting build, and then let's say you try to make up with that with the height. Let's say you try to grab more rebounds, you try to be more strong because you're 7'3", you max your shit out. Now you're extra slow, and you're already a defensive liability. So basically all you can do on the court is just be tall and shoot over people. If you don't plan on moving around, I guess that sounds pretty good, but that's the only thing you're gonna be able to do, and you're not even gonna be able to do that very well because your shooting is gonna be in the 70s. So you just gotta ask yourself, do you want height or do you want speed and to be able to get open? If you made a 7'3" pure shooter right now, I bet it wouldn't take you just a couple days to realize you're gonna need to make a smaller shooter to be able to guard those demons. But we're gonna move over to the pros now. Now the first pro we got is straightforward. Shooting is one of the most straightforward things, and having a dedicated build to that is probably one of the easiest things you're gonna be doing in this game. If you have a pure shooter or just a shooter in general, you already know what you're gonna be doing on the court. With shooting builds, if you're open, you shoot it. If you're not open, don't shoot it. It's just like that. Playmaking builds, it's more of a choice. You have a choice to pass the ball, you have a choice to drive. it all comes down to what you choose. With slashers, it becomes more of a chess match. You're gonna go up on someone, they're gonna react, so you're gonna react to them, and then vice versa. With defense, it's more about IQ and understanding what the other player is able to do and how you gonna prevent that. With shooting, you just shoot when you're open, don't shoot when you're not. It's so simple. It's probably one of the easiest builds for a new player on this game. I'd say it's probably one of the easiest archetypes to learn as well, just because you literally only have to learn one thing, and that's your jump shot. But we on to the next topic, or pro I should say, but team composition. Shooters are viable on any team. You can hop on any team and automatically make that team better. You cannot say the same thing with any other type of build, I say, other than about defense. Actually, no, not even defense, because you can have 2 insides and then add a defender on that team. Same thing with any other build, maybe a playmaker. But with shooters, you have 2 insides, add a shooter on that team, it automatically makes that team better. You have 1 inside, add 2 shooters on that team is so much better than the team with 2 insides and 1 shooter. As a slasher, on my slashing build, I have to worry about who I'm playing with in the park, who I'm hopping on the court with. As a shooter, you don't have to do that as much, because you know you can spread the floor and you can do your part to make the team better. You can do that with other builds, but more with shooters, because you know what you can do. You know how you can spread the floor. But guess who else knows that? Your teammates and the opponents know that, so that automatically creates diversion on the court. But we on to the last but not least, and that's finding teammates. Now, if you see my pros and cons of slashing builds, then you know this is the exact opposite of the slashing build. And if you heard that last part, then you would know why as well too. Shooters just fit well on any team. And again, guess who knows that? Everyone. So everyone is basically more opposed to having a pure shooter on the team than a pure slasher, just a shooting build in general. Even me, even on my slashing build, I know having a pure shooter on my team would be better than having a pure slasher. Even a person with a slashing build or just inside build in general knows that as well, because they know the shooter is going to stress the floor out. And I'm not talking about pure shooters right here, I'm talking about just shooters in general. All shooters will be able to do this if they're good at their build. Even if they're not, the defense will assume they are, and this just creates more opportunities on offense. But yeah, that's basically all I got for the video. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.